Mole bringing out the LeBlanc. He's going for this skill matchup. He had the counter last time and Xie won out. Now he's going for this 1v1 LeBlanc versus Syndra in the mid lane.
This is once again going to be seen if LGD can take over not only that mid lane, but the mid game and get themselves an advantage. And I'm curious to see what PP God can do in this Nautilus. Not a champion we've seen him on yet. We've seen him on the Thresh, we've seen him on the Bard, and we've seen him on that Taric. So now Nautilus still going towards that hook style of champion, still that playmaking style that we like to see out of PP God, but we'll have to wait and see.
During that camera shot of the league, it felt like someone flicked the light switch on halfway through. It was all shadowed, but here we go. Game number 2 here, LGD against V5, and LGD starting things off here as they move into the jungle, get a ward down on that red buff. They're going to be spotted though. Mole might be able to deny a recall here.
So the beauty here for Peanut in this early game is he's got a pushing top lane, he's got that pushing mid wave, and he can go super aggressive against Weiwei. So Weiwei will really struggle in this game. Completely different story from what we saw in the last game.
I'm really confused here, Dagda, because Peanut pretended to recall, didn't recall. He was on a ward anyway, but he never actually warded the red buff. He just dropped a ward in the jungle entrance instead.
Yeah, so right now it's more trying to spot out where are the movements going to be coming through from Weiwei. Has he decided to go from the red, maybe push in to get his own safety wards down a little bit further, but let's see if he will get spotted out as he goes through. But either way, Peanut is just going to be looking to go from top towards that bottom lane, get the scuttle of his own, and then potentially if he does find Weiwei down there, just go straight back up and get a second scuttle for himself on top side.
Let's take a second here and talk about this Ashe pick as well, coming through from Kramer, because obviously Kramer's old school enough that he'll have played Ashe in competitive before. It's been meta many times in the past. But let's just talk about how Ashe functions as a carry. You can see the approach velocity rune there, which basically means he has Vayne's passive. He gets to move towards CC targets a whole bunch quicker, especially if he's slowed them. But talk to me a little bit about how Ashe is going to function as a carry.
So you're on your 10-12 patch notes right there. So basically if you have anyone that you've CC'd yourself or movement paired yourself, you get that 15% movement speed off the approach velocity. But definitely Ashe here in this situation, we already talked about how strong the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is. And then as well, you've got a lot of poke in this lane, where you've got your volley that can work super well, you've got a lot of wave clear, and that's where the Aphelios starts to struggle a little bit, is if you can consistently just shove him in over and over again. And it means on LGD's side that they have essentially 3 winning lanes right now that they can play towards and enable Peanut to be super obnoxious for Weiwei. I mean, look at how far they've already pushed in a boss, and it opens up Weiwei now to go in towards the enemy jungle if he wants to.
Bit of a battle up in the top lane here between Langshing and View. Langshing going to be quite happy to just tank up some of the damage. One of the nice things about Mordekaiser is you can kind of sustain yourself back up with the Indestructible. And Mole looking a little bit better in this matchup. I say that, he does take a good old scat of the week, so nicely played there by Xie on this Syndra. I'm impressed by Xie Syndra actually across this series.
Yeah, I mean, Xie in general has been impressive, at least since the end of spring, where DMO really started to come into their own. And I'm delighted to see him find a home now on LGD, because even when he was on, hang on.
Down onto PP God. Can't do too. Oh my days, the damage. Kramer, get out of this lane, PP God.
I thought you of all people would know Ashe's damage, but we're still seeing plays mid.
Xie's in trouble. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana, but Mole misses the chains. That means Xie walks away.
And that was a big mistake from Mole. That could have been a kill if he had landed it. Still the ignite, still a lot of follow-up, and unfortunately not able to quite finish that off. But good job by Weiwei to at least get out onto the map and start trying to make plays happen when Peanut should be the one controlling this jungle match.
I think they did spot Peanut dashing over the wall just about there. He nipped out of the brush just before going over. He's moving on in towards the top side here. Weiwei is around as well if we do have a fight. Peanut, he's going to go for these Krugs though, not going for a dive. He spots it out. Can't quite get there in time to steal the big Krug. He gets a consolation prize, a couple of the little stone bros.
And don't forget, a little while ago, those Krugs were changed. So a lot of that experience from the Krugs is in those small Krugs. So it's actually a little bit more hurtful than you would have expected than in a few patches past.
But no, ultimately no actual brawling there. I thought Weiwei would maybe try and protect him, but obviously this Graves, incredibly good in the 1v1. Has a ton of upfront damage.
It's not only the upfront damage, it's the armor you get off that passive as well. It makes it so difficult to trade with. The True Grit stacks up to 10 times. You get a whole heap of armor. It ends up being about a cloth armor at these early levels, and that means it's pretty nigh on impossible for any of these AD damage dealers like the Trundle or the Lee Sin and stuff to really trade with them as effective.
Mark moving around the map here. Obviously there's no play available as Xie's just shoved the wave on in. Xie already having used his teleport, already having used the flash. I'd love to see Weiwei try and make something happen around that mid lane while Xie's flash is on cooldown.
I'm surprised, to be honest, that Xie didn't opt for something like the cleanse just because of how difficult it can be here, or even a barrier just to keep himself safe. Because it looks like Weiwei, as he said, is going to be putting a lot of pressure towards this mid lane. I think it's the right call, actually moving back in again. Peanut?
Starts off the dragon and he's like, I don't know about this one. I'm not actually sure where Weiwei is. Let's take a moment to talk about Peanut here, because let's bear in mind this guy is a world-class jungler. And there was, you know, one year people thought he was going to be the world champion. But since coming to the LPL, he's not had quite as much success. Now on this version of LGD, though, I think maybe Peanut has actually found a team that he can work with.
I think that's the beauty of Peanut on this roster, is that he's got 3 consistent lanes. You know Longxing is not going to make a ton of mistakes in lane that are going to force him behind. Same with Xie and same with Kramer. So you've now got 3 lanes that can set up for Peanut. He can either get any one of these 3 lanes ahead as well. And it feels it's just opened up a whole heap of opportunities for Peanut on this roster.
He actually gets to make plays and have them followed up on, most importantly.
And that was the big one for me. When I looked at him on LGD last split with Yuki in the mid lane, there's times where Peanut goes in aggressive, will get the cocoon on release, or make these massive flash kick plays as Lee Sin, and nobody from LGD is there. It all just went to naught. But this time around, it feels like the team is more willing to play towards him, like we saw in that last game, which I think could set him up to find the success that we expected, especially as I said. I mean, this guy's been to a row finals with Rox Tigers. We want this guy to get to hit the top of the mountain once again.
It's interesting that you say that the team is going to be playing around in this split, because potentially taking a leaf out of JDG's book, because that is where JDG's success really came from in spring. They ended up obviously being the LPL champions in spring. LGD with this new version of the roster, perhaps looking to emulate some of that success and certainly playing the slow, controlled style that we know of JDG.
The thing is, though, Weiwei's done a super good job so far in out-farming Peanut, which is incredible for this Trundle. It's level 6, he's got a 10 CS lead, now getting the Dragon for themselves as well. So this is where, yes, we can praise Peanut all we like. We can talk about his old, long history, but Weiwei coming into V5, coming across from Suning, where we only saw him playing AD carry last split, he's doing damn good.
Yeah, he's doing pretty damn well, it has to be said. I'm impressed by Weiwei, but I mean, I don't know. In game number 1, Weiwei didn't look that great. It has to be said. Peanut very much had control of that one. This time around, though, the matchup is swapped. So maybe this is more of a Trundle Graves thing.
Graves definitely wins out in this matchup. It's really hard for Trundle to get on top of him, deal the damage that you'd really like, because you're so dependent on the speed up that comes from your W, but the smoke screen can slow you down. Just being able to play around range with the dash from Peanut's Graves as well makes it super difficult. This is more Weiwei outperforming this jungle matchup, and I'm super impressed right now, especially being able to pick up that early dragon when we already talked about LGD are the ones that are mostly in control.
I have to say, I'm impressed by Mole this game, which, you know, it's not saying a lot, but he's almost even in CS, which comparatively to game 1, I take that as an absolute win in the mid lane, because Xie really made a mess of him in game number 1, not even in terms of 1v1, just in terms of the farm game and control around the map. More looking, I mean, a little bit better in terms of the farm when it comes to this LeBlanc. The big issue, though, is he's not really been landing the combos. That's where the concern lies.
At the moment, he has pushed in back on towards Xie. He's looking to make plays down towards the bottom side.
Kramer could be in trouble. There's a lantern, though. Nice positioning from Mark, playing around the carry, knowing that something could be going on there. Forces everyone to recall. In the meantime, Peanut did get this Rift Tower for himself. So overall, positive for LGD, but the question is, what can V5 do while this bot lane of Kramer and Mark are pushed away from the tower?
Answers to her plates. They're going to keep shoving in here. You're getting a lot of those plates in favor of V5 off the play. So even though as Graves you've now gotten this Rift Herald, you've invested more time into getting the Rift Herald. You have now already got your gold you're going to get from this Rift Herald answered. So V5 are still coming out on top of this trade despite the fact Rift Herald went to LGD.
Not going to try and push the issue on the plate, despite it surviving on about 10 HP there. The tower lasting, but Kramer spotted out way there with his Hawk shot, which means he knows he's going to be safe here. He knows he's going to be able to just play this one close to the chest. Starting off with the tier 2 boots on both sides of the board here for the AD carries. And that's just one of those things where you recall and you don't quite have enough for a BF sword. You got enough to go for the boots. It's kind of worth getting the attack speed.
It's also just speed up on these plays so you can catch out SamD and PP God if you do throw out that ultimate, especially as Kramer, to catch folks out. But going to be looking here to see where Peanut wants to...
He landed the chains. Mole, managed to land some ethereal chains. We're seeing improvement in the mid lane.
It's only up from here for V5. I feel like we've been saying that for a long time. But V5 now looking to make more plays on this bottom lane. Peanut knows something is going to happen down here. He can smell it.
Yeah, and he can see it, because there's a ward over the wall now going straight on towards PP. God forced away. He's low on HP, and there's the death sentence. There's a whole team from LGD. They find a kill, though, onto Weiwei.
I mean, Longxing TPing it a little bit aggressively, but this is no surprise from LGD. They like to throw everything at the kitchen sink at you, but great pick from LGD, and that just shows the power of this composition.
But the big thing that I have to bring in question here is there's no Dragon up. I don't think that this needed to be a 5-man play to the bot lane when all you can really do is drop the Herald and take one tower.
Look, your logic doesn't work for LGD. All right, they will get the tower. They should be able to get off of this next push. You can see SamD and PP got to move towards this top side instead, or at least maybe towards the mid, but
nope.
No, they're going to back away, actually, yeah. Not able to quite get it, but still.
I mean, they could have.
Yeah, they could have. But the thing is, V5 are trading. You got 2 plates already in the bot lane. Now you've added 2 plates onto Ornn in the top side of the map. So you're actually even when it comes to the plates. So it is just that kill going across, and no structure going down is a pretty big win for V5 in this situation.
Honestly, I feel like...
Oh, it is going to go down.
They got it!
Calculated!
The minion!
Calculated!
Oh my days. Dude,
how did we count them? How could we count
sat
that?
up last night doing all of the maths. They've got equations all over their notebooks. They figured it out. I am but a mere mortal comparatively to the mathematics of Kramer.
That is absolutely incredible. The biggest of brain plays. The only thing is they didn't get the local gold.
Yeah, there's local gold, there's plate gold that they've just completely missed out on. I still just kind of disagree. Like 3 more autos from Kramer, and that all goes in his pocket.
I mean, yeah.
Look, it was a calculated play.
Boss.
They're just really not great at maths. That's the problem. Here we go, though. Weiwei. He wants himself a scuttle crab. He's not going to be allowed to grab that one, though. As it gets picked up by Langxing. Dragon is up. Langxing has moved down here. BuBu still in the top lane. Not for long. Teleport going to be channeled. PP God is removed from the play. BuBu with Call of the Forge God. As SamD's in a 1v1 that he doesn't want to be in right now. Langxing closing the gap. Nice little dodge from SamD, but now the rest of the team arrives. Actually flashes to safety. Well played by SamD to survive. Mole getting in onto Peanut, but he sacrificed himself. Jumps back to the distortion. And LGD still on top of this fight right now. They're going to start the Dragon off. They only found 1 pick onto PP God. He's respawned and on the way right now. BuBu stepping forward. Mole wants to do the damage, wants to finish somebody off. Peanut has to get this smite. Dragon is still alive, finally goes their way. Mole gets away with his life, so does Langxing. In the meantime, SamD barely survives the burst. Hook from PP God. He wants to make the play. Xie is low, finished off. There's 2 kills, but the carries to V5. And it's all gone a little bit pear-shaped for LGD.
2 kills go over the way of V5. They couldn't get out of the pit. Nothing left in the tank to try and finish off the low health members of V5, but Mark on point with these hooks. Just nothing there to try and kill Mole. Was heartbreaking in that.
Yeah, PP God right at the start getting caught out, but we're still early on in the game. He had time to get all the way from base to get back in the fight again.
And I mean, look, at this stage, watch Mo trying to get in on this bottom side. Mark predicting it beautifully. But the problem is, Kramer and Longxing are completely separated from the rest of the team. They're not able to try and set up a position for Kramer to start auto-attacking these low-health members. And PP God, after coming back off of base, still has all of his ultimates, still has a full health bar, and can just move in as that frontline tank to set up for the rest of V5 to kill them.
That's my favorite part of that fight, is PP God is like, I'm back! And there's like 3 of them, no HP in the pit. He just walks in as Nautilus, like, what are you going to do about it? Easy 2 kills there for V5. But ultimately, the Ocean Drake goes the way of LGD. And you can see at the top left of your screen, it's going to be the Mountain Soul this game, which means we're going to have some tanky boys on the map.
And that's going to benefit massively this Ornn. If you can get a bunch of extra armor in under you.
PP God's been caught again, but Dredge line to safety. Bear in mind he doesn't have his flash right now, and Nautilus is not that tanky early on in the game.
He's not really tanky in comparison to a lot of the supports that you think about, like the Leonas, the Broms. He's only got this W shield that doesn't really do a huge amount, and that's why we see when he gets to maybe that 20 to 25 minute mark, he really starts to fall off because he just doesn't have the tanky stats, or at least that built-in durability like a Leona does.
Doesn't have that innate tankiness. But you can certainly get tanky with a few items, and obviously with the Aftershock, for a couple of seconds, you're going to be incredibly hard to kill. Pina gets a nice little chunk onto BuBu here, as we have a bit of an ARAM going on.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Mole is not with this. He's decided, hey, look, if you're all just going to commit to mid, well, I'm going to take this top lane turret. And as a LeBlanc, you're totally free to do this because you're so hard to try and lock down in these scenarios.
LGD have decided that Rift Herald is the call, though, and V5 are all on this half of the map as well. This will not be a free objective. Wei moving in, and Kramer is almost alone here at this point. Mark and Langxing pushed away. And in the end, I think V5 deciding perhaps they don't want to contest this one. Kramer taking a really dangerous path through the jungle, but luckily for him, there's a lantern. But with a double knock-up from the depth charge, Kramer pays with his life. Langxing now wants to answer AD carry for AD carry. The big metal man, though, is 1v4 with a flight onto everyone. Mark's trying to answer for this one. He gets knocked up. Xie only just arriving, but they have the damage. Collateral damage at that as well. 2 kills, make it 3. PP God desperate to escape, but a double for Xie.
And somehow LGD are able to bring that back. Kramer, how many times have I seen this man walking the completely bonkers direction at the start of fights, get killed, but LGD somehow claw that back?
I could feel my anxiety levels rising as I was watching him solo Herald Wei walking towards him. Then he's like, do you know what? I'm going to walk towards the enemy jungler. I'm going to walk right at them.
Do you know what sounds great? If I just walk straight past Wei, PP God, and Mole. Like, Mark does a great job to get him into a position there where he might have been able to escape, but there is no hope in that scenario.
He deserved that.
The big thing here, though, is Langxing being able to kill off Sam D. So even though Peanut and Xie struggled to get into this fight, Langxing survives long enough, drags enough attention from V5, and when you look towards the rest of the damage on this roster, you're not going to find it in a Trundle, in an Ornn, or even this consistent damage coming through from LeBlanc. So with Sam D down, you still got Peanut who can act as this consistent damage dealer in LGD and finish out the fight.
Honestly, with Kramer getting caught, Langxing saved LGD in that fight, being able to answer AD carry for AD carry. And then him and Mark just going 2v4. We've got AoE, we've got CC, bring it on V5. But this is more of what I wanted to see in Game 1. We've got some action, and we get to see the mechanical prowess on both sides of this squad.
Well, so far it's been LGD coming up on top, and I mean, it says a lot because, again, we're talking about how this composition will work super well off of these one-item spikes of Ludens. Like, you got that Blade of the Rune King. It'll continue with the Rune's Hurricane being complete on Kramer, and the Liandry's Torment as well being finished by Xie. But overall, V5 at least are keeping this gold lead not too significant in LGD's favor. So when Ornn becomes that super tank in the top, when Aphelios gets to his 3 items and a Molten Edge, he's going to be in a super good spot.
And that's the one I'm looking at. That 3-item Aphelios point is terrifying. He's basically the only crit AD carry in the meta. Aside from, you do see some Misfortune games, they're going to find themselves a Mountain Drake as well. So, as you rightly mentioned earlier on in the game, BuBu is going to get massive if they can stack a few of those up.
And LGD are making a smart call here. Give the dragon over. 2 dragons V5, not the end of the world. The big thing
they don't
here,
have
though,
5 dragons.
Exactly. The big thing here, though, is about getting these towers down so they're able to get deeper vision. They have more clear understanding of if they can go for picks with these long-range enchanted crystal arrows or hooks from Mark. And it's about trying to limit the vision that V5 have and giving them the best opportunity to catch people out.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is a prime example of why Ornn isn't known for his split push capabilities.
He got the tower.
He got it.
Can you argue with results?
Yes, I can. Watch me.
Yeah, most people do.
Mole is in trouble. Unleash Power does a lot. Gets away with his life, though. Yeah, that took him about 4 hours to do a quarter of a tower that has no plates on it.
I mean, look, he's a forge god. He's not supposed to be tearing things down, you know? It's not in his nature.
He's a
He doesn't want
builder.
to be.
He's
Exactly.
a builder, not a breaker.
Exactly. And you've
Unless
put him
it's
against
Kramer's
his
health
oath.
bar.
Yeah, true. He's gone against his oath here, and now he's tearing down these structures and everything else that he wanted to forge and build up beauty in the world.
He's
And
just,
it's awful.
he's farming resources, dude. He's getting stuff for his next masterwork. Masterpiece. Let's take a look at the scoreboard here, because Shie 3-1-1 in this mid lane is looking pretty juicy. With the Ludens as well, if Sam D mispositions even slightly, Shie will pretty much one-shot him at this point in the game.
Yeah, 110%. Shie is real damn strong right now, and it's only going to get a lot worse when he does finish that Leandri's tournament as well. So, I mean, LGD are in a really good spot at the moment, and that's why when we're looking towards, okay, how are they going to use the likes of this Rift Herald? How are they going to try and accelerate the game plan? I would like to see them pushing towards this mid, get this a couple of these turrets in shape for themselves, see if they can pick off the likes of Sam D. The big thing here as well is don't forget that there is the opportunity now with these side lane turrets down for Shie to push in aggressively, Longshing as well, and then come and join in mid, because Sam D will most certainly be the one that's left in this mid lane to try and wave clear. So there's the opportunity with these long range Enchanted Crystal Arrows to pick off either Sam D, PP God, and cause these number advantages.
Shie is going to get caught up by the chain here. Mole doing a really good combo onto him. Can they finish the job? Ignite's ticket, so subjugation, just enough to finish the job. Now in come Peanut and Mark. The clone going to vanish. And here comes Bew with the call of the Forge God. Mark flashes away, Peanut dodges it. They're going to be safe for now, but PP God and Sam D, they're heading them off, and they want to finish off some kills. They're straight onto Mark. Uses the box to keep himself safe for now, but Aftershock runs out. That means he's going to go down.
This is a big play from V5. Not only do they get the kills, they get the towers. 2 dead on LGD as well. This is really strong as they are looking to just slow down the plays from LGD and stop them from being able to push aggressively in this mid game.
I'm a little bit surprised there from V5 because they've got Nephelios. They could have gone for a 5-man Baron play right there. It would have been risky, but it would have been doable.
They're a bit worried because you still have Shie who's about to spawn. He had his teleport up, so didn't want to go towards this Baron. Then end up as sitting ducks for Enchanted Crystal Arrows, for poke, for Shie's massive setup as well. So instead, they're happy to back away, spend that well-earned gold, and try and get again to that 3-4 item spot.
Let's take another look because this was really nice from Mole.
I thought the Shie might have been able to do it. It was a good call to use the ult first, so then you can get multiple Scatter the Weaks and hit everyone, but fortunately, too much damage coming through from Mole, and then LGD overextending on these aggressive plays.
Crystal Arrow Lantern doesn't actually finish off the minion. Saves the day. PP God thanking his lucky stars right now.
Yeah, they had a small window of opportunity with Bew on the bottom side of the map, and they tried to grab it, they tried to go for the play, but the minions saying, "Get down, Mr. President." They will save the day here. And I mean, PP God is able to get away. I suppose save the God more than the President in this situation.
That's true. PP God himself walks away. And he's going to be feeling good off the back of that one. Feeling lucky. That is, I think, the phrase for this one. Kramer has himself a Hurricane, though, on this Ashe. Small's moving in. We've lost our overlay, so I'm thinking maybe there's a team fight coming. Or maybe not.
Or someone has hit the wrong button, which is also an option. There is no fight, but we'll be looking towards V5 at least moving in towards this river, trying to control it. And again, as long as V5 are all grouped up, it's a lot more difficult for LGD to make these picks happen.
Good effort from Mark on the hook there. It's not quite going to find Mole, but nearly got him on the distortion pad. Dragon spawns. This would be the third one for V5 if they're able to find it for themselves. Call of the Forge God as Langshing is alone on the front line, and he's found PP God in the Death Realm. A little bit of CC from PP God, but realistically, he can't do much about this one. Gets the knock-up somehow, surviving this one. Finally goes down, but he's traded for a top laner. He's happy to take that. Kramer now pretty lonely in this fight. Mole pulled in, and he doesn't have any mana. Arrow just goes wide. Mole barely dodges it, and Peanut walking on forward, but he's alone. Knocked up himself. Moonlight Vigil onto everyone. Flash forward coming out from Sam D. Desperate to win it, but the Ashe damage is too much. Approach velocity, baby. You can't run away. Now back to the mid lane. And it's just going to be a 2-for-1.
Oh my god, that was so close, but V5 will come out on top. They've turned towards the Dragon. There's nowhere for LGD to go. So V5 will get the objective, will get the kills, and still get towards their end goal of that final Dragon and some more items in their back pocket.
Kramer ends up with no kills off the back of that. He was so close to a triple.
I was not sure how this fight was going to go. Longxing goes in aggressively, but isn't actually able to burst out PP God because he's holding on to this Gargoyle Stone Plate for so long, trying not to use it if he doesn't have to give all these extra stats to Longxing, but Longxing goes down so quickly. And then Kramer playing on a knife's edge at the front of this fight. Peanut goes that little bit too far forward here and ends up getting caught out, but you see Enchanted Crystal Arrow missing barely. The thing is, Mole isn't actually that big of a factor anymore in these fights. He's completely out of mana. He actually stays out of this fight altogether. And if the Enchanted Crystal Arrow had hit anyone else, LGD would have won that fight.
And honestly, V5 barely getting away with things there. You see Mole gets out with the skin of his teeth, and everybody on the side of V5. I mean, Sam-D was a single auto away from going down there, but he managed to get in the brush, get out of vision. And I mean, Kramer couldn't quite finish the job.
Mole?
Mole is in a precarious position, or is he? Maybe he could just easily win this 1v1. Flash forward from Longxing and forces the flash out of Mole as well. One more Obliterate would do the job. The pull not going to land, and now he's found himself alone. Well played by Mole to kite him out during the Death Realm. And V5 won a little bit more. Call of the Forge God. Peanuts caught out, knocked up, and taken down. 2 easy kills for V5.
LGD are not respecting V5 in this game, and V5 are coming back. Now have 1,000 gold lead.
Oh. He was trying to finish off Mole.
He was
valiant effort, actually.
It was, but now they've no Enchanted Crystal Arrow for this pit. It's all going to be on Xie to try and survive, or at least deal this poke and maybe pick someone off in this fight.
Can they actually contest this, though? I think Kramer basically saying, look, we can't win this fight anyway. I'm going to try and get Mole if I can. And would have been miraculous. It nearly hit him. I saw it on the minimap, but nearly isn't good enough.
They need to delay time. 4 seconds on Longxing can get into this fight, but I don't know if they've got the time here.
Yeah, this is a 3v5. You cannot contest this as LGD. They don't even have a smite to try and steal it. Bear in mind, Weiwei doesn't have smite right now, but they're still going to get the Baron for themselves. They walk away. Daylight robbery right there.
And now V5 are really starting to hit their stride. So they're getting towards these later items, getting towards those levels as well, where Bubu is able to gift across a lot of these ornaments. You are going towards that second Zeal item as well for the Aphelios. And this is just strong play from Mole. The team that wants to be trying to go for these individual plays and picking off people are actually the team that's getting picked off in the wrong position.
This was really well played by Mole as well. A single extra Obliterate hits him. That is a totally different fight. But then the follow-up, LGD were just too late to the party.
And we wanted to see things out of Sam-D and PP God in this game. Well, now we're going to get our opportunity, because look at that. Phantom Dancer now finished by Sam-D. Molten Edge just crafted for him as well. V5 have really come online now, and LGD are going to struggle to fight at all. They are all in on this pick style of comp, where they need to try and see if they can deny vision in some jungle areas and maybe get a catch on towards, well, anyone on V5, but realistically, if you run into Bubu in that, you don't stand a chance.
I mean, when you look at that bottom lane, honestly, for Sam-D, the most important item is that QSS, because look at the composition he's against. There's an arrow, there's a Death Realm, there's Scatter the Weak, there's the hooks from Mark. It could save his life many times. Mark has just not been landing these hooks this game, unfortunately. Mole, desperate to escape. Collateral damage goes wide.
Look at mid lane, though. V5 are just shoving in.
LGD just can't make things work this game. PP God walks on forward, trying to do something, but Longxing has found him. There's an arrow. It's only going to land onto the tank, though. Bubu's happy to tank that one up for his team. Knockups galore now. As LGD, they're trying to get some damage in, but they're only hitting onto the tanks, and it's just not good enough. Longxing trades for PP God for the second fight of this game, and now Peanut has to run for the hills. Knockup goes wide onto Xie. It means LGD maybe have an opportunity here.
Not with Mole Reed coming in, though.
Mark keeps attempting this hook onto Mole. The flay will work, though, and Peanut finally gets an answer.
And now it actually gives the opportunity for LGD to look towards this dragon. You've got Weiwei here, does have the level advantage, but at least for now, they have the man advantage on this dragon.
The thing is, eventually Mark is going to hit one.
What?
Hey, Mark, you okay, buddy? I don't know what is... Mark is on a wild one this game. Eventually, he's going to hit one of these hooks onto the distortion pad, and if it's clipped alone, he's going to look like a god. If you've seen the rest of this game, it's like when your mate's been showing off and they finally flip the bottle, and it's like, yeah,
every
okay,
hook
mate.
you don't throw. It's just that Mark has also mixed missed most hooks he has thrown. And eventually it will land though, and eventually that's going to be the one that actually matters. Because the thing is, with how much CC that you've got on this LGD roster, if you do manage to find Sam D or Mole in these precarious positions, well then it becomes a lot easier for LGD to play these 4 versus 5 fights.
Needs to try and get a hook onto Sam D, but with a QSS and a cleanse, I don't know how you ever catch this Aphelios out of position.
And look at the farm on this Aphelios, 345. He's 5-1-5. This is why he's so far ahead. The Death Stance only just completed by Kramer, whereas you've got the Phantom Dancer you're looking. I'm imagining at least a GA or something along these lines for Sam D, but he's going full defense as these 4th and 5th options, which I do like, because at this stage, as long as you survive as Sam D, you're going to be able to clean up.
Same can be said for Kramer as well, if he's in the right position during these fights. We've seen little moments of him popping off. Now with the Death Stance, though, Kramer is hitting probably the strongest he's going to be this game. So these next few minutes could be the opportunity for LGD to find a way back in.
The problem is he's a full item behind Sam D. Yeah. Sam D just finished his Mercurial Scimitar. He is by far and away going to out-damage Kramer in these fights. And the thing is, when you look at just raw health bars, they're also in favor of V5. BuBu is monstrous. Wei is getting incredibly tanky as well. So trying to get through this front line of V5 as LGD is going to be a struggle to even get to Sam D, who's going to be dealing more damage than you guys do anyway.
And even when you look at, like, if Shie can get some burst down right, he's going to have a shield because he's got Overheal and Bloodline by the looks of things. I saw a shield on him in the mid lane there, and he didn't have Severin. So he's got a ton of lifesteal. He's going to be able to build up shields for himself. You can see it there. Like, he's feeling fantastic in these fights. It feels almost impossible to get onto it.
And that's why at the moment what LGD are trying to do is have Shie shove in this top wave, get Mole or BuBu to deal with this side lane, and then maybe find an opportunity with this long range engage.
I've just noticed, it's even worse than I thought. He's also got a stopwatch.
Yeah.
So even in the dire situation that he's caught out with enough CC that he has to use a cleanse and a QSS, and his lifesteal isn't going to cut it, then he turns golden for 2 seconds.
Yeah, and I mean, that's all you really want here, because it's just going to give enough time for the rest of your team to swarm you, protect you, and make sure that they're CCing whoever tries to take a whiff at Sam D.
I certainly wouldn't want to have a whiff of Sam D after such a sweaty game, but CV5, they want to make something happen here. Wei finds Peanut, can't dash over the wall, has to use his collateral damage as a gap close. Or as a gap creator, I guess, in that situation. Gets away, though.
And sad times for LGD, as it is just this slow, inevitable choke. V5 now waiting for this next Baron to spawn. They're going to go pick that up, and maybe LGD can pick off someone beforehand, but V5 want to do the same.
Peanut is in the wrong place right now. That's 2 flashes for a Forge God. You know what? If I'm BuBu, I'm going to take that trade any day of the week.
It does open up Kramer a little bit more in these fights, though, especially as we talked about that Baron has just spawned. So maybe LGD can find a fight here where Kramer's unopposed thanks to that Call of the Forge God or Mole being able to get access, but it's a big maybe and more of a silver lining to this game.
In fact, I think there was 3 flashes, because Kramer's flashes...
Oh yeah, true, yeah.
What did he flash from? I missed that entirely.
Mark is clearly telling him when to flash, and it has been working out so hard.
Potentially. Mark steps forward, Kramer clears the ward. And LGD, I mean, they want to make something happen. Mole, come on, mate. That's an easy one. Peanut's caught. Gravitum is there, so he's going to be rooted. There's no real follow-up onto him, though. Langxing moves in, stuns onto Sam D, but he doesn't have to use anything here as Wei. Use the subjugation. Peanut is still fine on this one, Langxing. Pulled back in. PP God is low. Goes golden. And now the damage coming out from Kramer. Mole can't pop anyone just yet. He's not found a way into the fight.
And this is the issue, again, we talked about with BuBu not having that Call of the Forge God. Well, LGD are actually able to fight pretty aggressively, but it's none for none when all is said and done. And V5 will go back now. They'll heal up. And now they can go towards this Drake where you, not Drake, even Baron, where you do have the likes of your Call of the Forge God up available. Flashes are still burnt on LGD side, and now they can really look to finish off this game.
All right, 20 seconds for the Mountain Soul if V5 win the fight. Obviously, Call of the Forge God is back now. The flashes that it burnt last time around are not. So LGD, the positioning has to be pristine here from them. Mole steps on in just to try and get a bit of an idea of what's going on here. Mark clearing some vision.
SamD needs to be careful though, because if he's separated mid lane like this, they can jump on him with the ult.
Certainly can. He's got a GA for himself. Oh, just gets away from the Death's Grasp. Peanut wants to go over, and you know Peanut can smite.
I actually said SamD needs to be careful, but he is cleansed. He doesn't have the Q or the Mercurial Scimitar just yet, but he's got GA as well. SamD is probably not the target you want to try and pick.
He ain't that scared right now. 5,000 on the Dragon. In comes Peanut, tries to steal it. He's onto Mole, actually. He's going to look for the smite, but he doesn't get it. He goes down, and now his team is left out to dry. Mark can't escape, and Langxing will be tethered. Finds a 1v1 in the Death Realm. But Mole, he's just going to kite him out. He's got a ton of tanky stats. He can dodge away. Actually, he can't dodge away. He's going to fall, but ultimately, it's a 1 for 3 and a soul.
And a Baron. V5 can move over towards this objective, pick it up for themselves, and V5 just getting even more scary in this game. And I don't know what you can do as LGD to try and fight back here. It feels like at this stage you're more communicating with people about what can we do differently next game to make sure we don't end up in this position again.
I love that Peanut still hasn't bought boots, by the way. He's got tier 1 boots in his inventory there. Oh dear, just Peanut things, but this is going to be the Baron going the way of V5, and we've kind of had a bit of a role reversal from game 1 here, because game number 1, it was all about LGD having the advantages later on. They waited their time and then finally come into their own. This time around, it was V5 that had a stronger late stage of the game. SamD got all of the gold that he needed to accelerate to that point. Now he's at full build. There's nothing LGD can do about it.
And it felt like LGD locked themselves into this with the Ashe pick. You don't really have the damage, as you can see here, when you get to the late game fights to try and get through. Well, PP God even definitely can't get through Bew, and it meant that they had to try and go for more of a pick style, but weren't able to get a big enough advantage early to have that in their favor. And look, it's not even fair. It's just not fair.
He just doesn't do any damage.
No.
Oh, poor Kramer, poor Kramer. But then again, you were on the wrong side of the fight, flashing over to their blue buff, so...
Yeah, well, look, V5 have just played this draft better. They realized, look, we don't have to make these plays happen, but they actually do match for a lot of LGD's aggression in the early game. They get to the late game where Aphelios is full items, Ornn is almost full items as well. And now you're just reaping the benefits of how strong these two champions are when you get to 37 minutes in the game.
Mole oh my days, the damage onto Peanut. Mole nearly one-shot him right there. Bew is doing the groundwork to get these minions in onto the towers. In the meantime, mid lane inhib falls to Weiwei, SamD, and PP God. Mole consistently just poking out. He's got a Mountain Drake shield, so he can go under towers happily on this one. Bew is about the size of a freight train at this point. You can't even poke him. He's going to be practically invincible. And LGD, they group up underneath this tower. This is their last bastion. Crystalline Arrow doing his Bew. There's nothing you can do with that one. And SamD, he can just wander on forward and free hit this tower with his gigantic shield that he's got.
Yeah, Mole is basically playing peekaboo with LGD right now. And every time that hook comes out, Mark is not able to find it because Mole has disappeared once again.
Mole's going in once more. Doesn't find too much damage for himself, but there's a hook onto Xie, and that might just end the game. Moonlight Vigil from SamD, and it's another kill in the books. Bew can tank as many towers as he feels like. As everyone steps into the Darkness Rise, they're all going to help Langxing pad his stats, but they're also going to ruin his KDA. Now on to the rest of the squad as LGD have fallen short in game number 2, and V5 want to push us to 3 games. They want to show us that game 1 was not enough. SamD with the cleanse, stepping onto the fountain, might ruin his KDA. Kramer desperately trying to do anything, but he just can't. Another double, and SamD comes on through.
You doubt SamD ruining his KDA. He's just added 2 more to the marks above it. It has been incredible.